Hey guys, Sharlrita Deloatch here, and on today's video, I'm going to lay it down for new authors. So if you're a new or an inspired author, you want to stay tuned for this video because I want to share with you a 90-day marketing plan that's going to help you to sell more books. All right, stay tuned. All right, so hey guys, Sharlrita Deloatch here. I am the CEO and founder of BWE Publishing and Consulting, where we help women entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants, thought leaders, women CEOs. We help them to write, publish, and launch their signature book hands-free. Not only do we help with books, we also, if you have a journal that you want to publish, you have a planner that you want to publish, and you need someone to do the design work, maybe even an ebook, we have your back and we'll get that done for you, so that way you don't have to worry about the tech, you don't have to worry about design. We will cover it all for you. So if you want to learn more about our services, right in the description below is an opportunity for you to book a consultation, okay? But you first have to fill out an application. So you must fill out an application first, get approved for that application, and you will have the opportunity to book a call, okay? So let's chat today about marketing. All right, who is this video for? This video is for the new and inspired author. Now, those of you that have written books before, yes, you can definitely get some value out of this video, but primarily who I am speaking to are those of you that are getting ready to write books. It's your first time, maybe you even thinking about it. This video is for you. Why am I doing this video? Because I see time and time again, as authors come out, they're launching books and expect everyone to buy, and they do not create a marketing plan. All right, I'm going to share with you 3 phases of your marketing plan that you should be doing way before you even publish the book. All right, you can do this while you're writing the book. You should be alerting your audience and letting people know that you have this book coming out. One of the things that I really despise is when authors feel like their book should be the best kept secret. It shouldn't. When you are writing a book that's going to not only share your story of triumph, and you're providing transformation with your story, but if you're sharing your expertise as well, you definitely should not keep quiet. You should be talking about your book even when the thought comes across your mind. All right, so we know that the biggest way or to get further and get more people's eyes on your information as a whole is social media. Social media is not going anywhere. You got Snapchat, YouTube, you have Instagram, Facebook, you have TikTok, you have Clubhouse, you have many different platforms that are free. Let me say that are free to use if you use them right and you leverage them right, free. All right, so if you never, ever put any money into advertising, now I will say this, advertising does not need to happen in the beginning phases as you are building. This right here that I'm going to show you is all about doing it organically. All right, it's all about doing it organically, because I feel like this, if you can't get people organically to opt in or to buy to what you have, putting money to ads and things like that is not going to really solve your problem. Okay, so I wanted just to give you that FYI. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but let's do this organically first. Let's do these things. So let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about my method. This is my three-step method that I use. I also have my clients to use this method as well. When it comes, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. It's going to take work. Anything that I present on my channel, especially for authors, it's not for you to sit back and think that it's not going to take work. It's going to take work. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some tenacity. It's going to take you sticking with it to the very end. Okay? Sticking with it to the very end. You know why? Because when you put some skin in the game and you really stick with it, that's when the miracle happens. That's what happens. That's when it leads to book sales. One of the biggest mistakes that I see with many new authors is that they go through what I call like a seesaw of sales and books. All right. You are up 1 minute because all your family and friends decide to support you. Maybe people that know you decide to support you. That runs out after the first month or so. That's the honeymoon phase. You know, if you married, you know, you have that honeymoon phase where it's within they said the first to 3 years is like the honeymoon phase. That's the thing when it comes to sales and books. I don't want that for you. Your book is a product that should be going for a long time, even past when you leave the earth. The book is everlasting, so it's here to stay. Once you put that book out, that is collateral, that is legacy. All right. So I think what happens is sometimes you just have to shift your mindset. Let's do that for a minute before I even do that. You got to shift your mindset when it comes to your book. It's not a book is not just a book. It's a product. It is a legacy. It's words that you wrote on paper that you took the time to do. Let me bag it up. So God gave you the thought in your mind. All right. He put the thought in your mind. You decide to take that thought and put it onto paper. All right. Then you didn't leave it on paper. You decide to actually print it. All right. So you decide to print it. You decide to not only print it, you decide to put it out there for others to see. So you may use other platforms such as Amazon. You may use Barnes and Noble. You may use other platforms to get it out there. There's steps and there's levels to it. So you got to shift your mindset. So you're not just publishing a book. You're publishing a legacy. You're publishing something that's always going to be here. So I had to give you guys my little TED talk before I get into this 90-day plan, because I've been there before where I took light on what I wrote. Do not take it lightly what you wrote. What you wrote changes somebody's life. It changes someone's livelihood. What you write, it changes somebody's heart. It may change somebody's mindset. It may, whatever you're shifting for them, whatever the transformation, it may change the way they feel. It may give them more confidence. It may teach them how to speak. It may teach them how to write. It may teach them how to treat their children better or treat their spouse better. You are changing someone's life when you are writing a book. So I want to make sure that I give you that. Okay. So I got my lemon water here. It's actually warm lemon water, so I'm going to be sipping on this from time to time. Now, this is a 90-day plan. So I want you to sit down and say, okay, the thought comes to your mind, I want to write a book. Cool. You want to write a book. What do you want to write about? Who are you writing it for? All right? So remember, when I say what, that means you're writing about one thing. Who? You're writing to one person. Think about one person. I know people say, have a target audience. I want you to have a target person when you're writing. All right. It helps you to think different. I tell my clients to name their target person. All right. If we're going to name her Sally, let's name her Sally. So let's give an example. So the thought comes in my mind that I want to write a book about writing books. Let's talk about that. Okay. So I want to write a book about writing books. I want to teach my person who is Sally. I'm going to teach Sally how to write a book. All right. So that's what I'm going to write about. All right. So for 90 days, you need to sit down and say, I'm going to write the book. Now I want you to pan out 90 days. All right. So 90 days from the day that you make that decision. Now we're getting ready to start this marketing. All right. So 90 days out. So if we say, so today at the time of this recording, it is July the 15th. So we got August the 15th, September the 15th, and October the 15th. So I'm expecting to, during that 90-day period, I am expecting to have that book written, have it published. All of that stuff is going on during this 90 days. All right. But even if it's not, my launch date is not going to be until after the 15th. Okay. So we're not writing books to write them fast. We write them so that you can get better over time. We're writing them so that you can promote them over time. And plus, this gives you an opportunity to truly build your audience. So the first stage, stage number one. Stage number one is your awareness stage. They don't know you. People don't know you. All right. They don't know who you are. I'm not talking about just my family and friends. You need to think about the person that's been following you. You don't know them. They don't know you. Even if it is family and friends, they don't know you. Okay. So what are you doing in this awareness phase? All right. I have some notes here. What you're doing during this awareness phase, you're educating. You're educating your audience, all right, on your subject matter that you're going to be writing about. So if I'm writing a book about writing and publishing, I'm going to be educating my audience about writing and about publishing, all right? How are you going to do that? I know you asked, well, Sharlrita, how am I going to do that? What does that look like? Okay, educating could be live stream. It could be YouTube. It can be podcasts. It can be a blog. I suggest you get one form of content and run with it. All right. So this right here, while you're educating, you don't just start educating in the first month. It's continuing on. So this right here needs to be consistent. And to me, consistent with these is weekly. Okay. So this is weekly consistent content. So you're giving out that weekly consistent content around the subject matter of your book. And I know you're thinking, well, if I'm writing this book, will I be giving away too much? Absolutely not. Because I promise you the topic that you're writing on, it's not a one and done thing. All right. It's more than that. So you're educating your audience in the awareness phase. You're also giving them some how-tos. So this is where people are getting to know who you are. So you can talk about what the book is about. You can talk about why you wrote the book. You could talk about a little bit of the how-to within your book. Let me give you a disclaimer. Anybody can use this, but I really cater this to those that are writing business authority books, in which I call signature books. A signature book, in my definition that I came up with, is what's in your head and what's in your heart combined together. So what's in your head is your knowledge, your expertise. It's what you know. What's in your heart is your story. So that's what we do with my company. We help you to combine those two together. I have an eight-part signature framework that I go through with this. I actually went through my writing framework. So there's a video right here I'm going to reference. You can go and check that out later on. Okay. So when you're going through your awareness phase, you're letting people get to know you. It's like dating. I want you to think about it with dating. When you go out on a date with someone, so right here in the awareness, you guys are talking on the phone when you're dating. You know, you may go out on a few dates, but you may go on a few dates outside the house. You're not coming to each other's house. We're not there yet. We just in the beginning phase. You're getting to know me. I remember back in the day, used to write letters back and forth. You know, people don't do that anymore. But writing letters was one thing. Talking on the phone all day and all night until you fell asleep and even slept on the phone. That's the dating part. You're getting to know them, okay? So that's the first 30 days. I say you should start this in the first 30 days. All right. The awareness does carry on. Like it carries on. You're always building awareness because people are always coming and getting to know you. All right. It's not just to the same person. So the next part is for me, it's the radar. Now you're at stage 2. This the next 30 days. Now you're on their radar. So they've been consuming your content. You've been showing up for them every week. You've been showing up on your social media every day. You've been in your stories. You just been showing up on the specific platforms in which you are doing so, right? So in this radar phase, this is where you're going to start to really dig a little bit more deeper in the content that's in your book, all right? So what are some things that you can do to help to build radar? All right, you can do a challenge. You can do a webinar. All right. I don't want you to get confused and think, well, how do I know who is who? People gonna fall where they gonna fall because they're gonna think about the language. All right. So when someone is getting to know you and then they get into the radar stage, this part doesn't stop. But now you're starting to say, okay, let me educate my audience a little bit more. Let's take it a step further. Let's have a webinar. All right. All right. Let's have a webinar. I want to get you on a webinar. I want to get you in a challenge because the CTL, the call to action at the end of those things should be a way to either get your book or get on your list or however you want to do this. That's another thing. You can use these to get people on your list. However you want to do it. There's no blueprint. It's what you see fit. But what I don't want you to do is to be out here just doing things and not having a call to action. All right. So this is when people will start getting to these things. They'll start getting on your email list. And I say you can pretty much use these two to build an email list or a text list. Start off with one. Okay. So if this was me, if I wanted to build awareness, for me, my awareness campaign would be a podcast. So I'm like, okay, let's start a podcast. All right. So with my podcast, I'm going to be dropping nuggets every single week to my audience. I'm going to be reminding them. I'm going to be seeding to them that I'm writing a book. So they're going to be aware. They're going to hear it so many times. You have to understand. And I'm going to quote this from Christy Muhammad. She's a Women Project CEO. All right, Women Project CEO. I follow her on Instagram because I want to make sure I don't take her quote. But she said this the other day, and it stuck with me. She said, every time that you put out a piece of content, every time that you show up in your stories, your Instagram, you are shaking the tree. You're basically shaking the tree. Every time you put out something, I want you to think that analogy. Okay, today I'm going to put out this post on Instagram. I'm shaking the tree because I need people to know about my book. I'm shaking the tree. Where everybody, some people will stay in the awareness phase. They may not want to go to stage 2, but it doesn't mean you're not going to have a stage 2. Okay, so again, stage 2 is you're on their radar. Now you're doing the challenges. You're doing a webinar, and in doing those things, you are growing an email list, you're growing a text list. All right. We're not going to get into should they pay for the challenge or webinar. That's up to you. All right. That's totally up to you and your strategy and how you are mapping out for your book. That's totally up to you. Okay. Let's go to the last stage. Stage 3. This is where the shift happens. This is the shift right here. This is when they're ready to buy. All right. So if I did a podcast and I mentioned, okay, I'm doing this webinar on this day, they decide to register for the webinar, right? After the webinar, I'm leading them to pre-order my book. All right. So in the stage 2, going into stage 3, definitely start pre-orders. All right. Start pre-orders with your book. It's okay for that. All right. So I say like the last week going on to stage 3, you should start definitely in stage 3. You should be doing pre-orders for your book. Okay. Because by then we're not going to make this hard. All right. So by then you should already have the book written in at least 30 days. If you're serious about this, you have this book written and done in 30 days. Then you go into the publishing. That takes at least, 30 to 45 days, depending on, you're going back and forth with the editors. You're going back and forth to make sure that's done. All right. But even if you don't get into stage 3 and you haven't published yet, that's fine. All right. You can at least start pre-orders for step 3. Okay. For stage 3. And that's when the shift happens. That's when that's when people want to buy. They're ready to buy into your book. All right. Now I teach my clients to think beyond the book. So so when you got to book a call with us, you want to learn these strategies in which we have set in place. I have different strategies work for different clients. All right. But all of this stays the same. You still go through stages. I want you to take from this video and go ahead and you make a decision. You want to write your book. So you made a decision today, on July the 15th. That means you and I know that this book will not be out until October. Okay. You need to go through these stages. All right. So again, I hope that this video helped you. I hope that you got some value out of this. And I didn't tell you in the beginning, but please subscribe and like this video. Put some comments in and let me know if this helped you. Also, click that dingling notification bell, and that lets me know, lets the system know that you want to get a notification every time my video comes up. So if you would do that, you won't miss a video, and that way you'll be able to get this content that I'm dishing out. Okay? So I hope this helped you. Have a great one. You have questions, put them in the comments, and I can't wait to chat with you soon. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye.